Hey dreamers, Bryce here from Midnight Notion, singer, songwriter, musician, and a big fan of Metallica. I spent 115 days rating every single song, but I still have a handful of tiebreakers to break. So today, it's the battle for 37. Cue the intro.
So Ted, give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! Hate Train versus Here Comes Revenge. I don't know, these songs are fairly similar. Both of them have sort of a middle tempo feel to them with a clean section that builds back up into a hard rock. But from there, they're pretty different, I guess, after that point. Regardless, we're going to compare these songs based on the following criteria: structure, flow, melody, engagement, and lyrics. We'll find out which one has what it takes to get 37th place and the other one gets 38th place. So low stakes, but we got to find out which one's better. Which one do you think is better? Comment along at home and let me know what you think. And of course, hit that subscribe button because when you do, all your dreams come true. Let's do this thing. Whoosh. Round one, structure. Let's take a look at Hate Train's structure. We start with a very intriguing intro. It's a little wonky, but it's there. And then we go into what I'm going to call a new riff, because this riff actually doesn't come back at all. It's just kind of an introductory riff. So it's different from the intro, but it's not going to come back. And then we have a solo, which is a very intriguing start to the song. Kind of a kill 'em all method, if you will. And then we have the main riff, which is kind of like the song Fuel. It always reminds me of Fuel when we get here. And then, of course, Hate is a Train. We've got a verse leading into another main riff. And then we have another verse, so two verses before we get into the main riff again. And we hit the pre-chorus, which comes up a little bit higher than the verse. And then we've got this chorus. Such a beautiful, beautiful little chorus. Comes down and it gets real clean and very beautiful before breaking back into that hard, fast main riff. Another verse, another pre-chorus, another chorus. We're skipping right through these to save on time. We've got the main riff once again, and then we're going to call this a solo. And here's where it gets a little interesting. I'm going to call this the breakdown. You can argue each one of these if you want to. I'm going to call this the solo, is another solo. And then we have a bridge, I guess. And then a bridge verse. Things get kind of messy around here. Song structure gets a really kind of difficult to, what is each part of the song? We're going to have another solo in here. We're going to have a pre-chorus again. And then the third chorus is actually a little different from the other choruses because we have a break and it just jams a lot harder than the other two. And then, of course, we finish it off with the main riff. So very interesting structure to a song. If you look just at lyrics, we have the verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, and then I guess a bridge section and a chorus. So we would go A, B, C, and then I guess B again. So very interesting structure. Not a very typical structure for a song. We have 4 different solos. We've got 3. The third chorus is different from the first 2, which I guess isn't super uncommon, but it's a very, very interesting structure. Let's take a look at Here Comes Revenge. We've got the intro. Very whiny, cryy, wailing at the moon. We've got, I guess, the main riff. We'll call the rest of the intro the intro. The intro kind of builds into a new riff. The main riff is really the thing that we hear throughout the song. We go into a verse, which starts with some thumping, but goes into this clean bit with some singing, and it builds and it gets heavier. It builds into the main riff again, reminder of that. We've got a chorus, Here Comes Revenge. Main riff once again, another verse and another chorus. This all repeats. And then we've got the bridge section, which kind of goes back and forth between a brand new riff and the main riff, a kind of A and B. We talked about this in the review video. And then we build to this solo. Excellent little solo here. back to the chorus from the solo, and then we've got a bridge section, I guess. It's kind of it kind of calls back to the bridge before, but it's not quite the same because it's inverted. And then we've got another solo in the outro. And of course, instead of the outro, it's actually the intro again. So this one's interesting because we have bookends, right? It's the same at the beginning as it is at the end. Very interesting structure. But if you look at just the words, it's just verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. So very standard structure if you break it down. Yes, there's a couple different parts. Yes, you could argue whether these are bridges or breakdowns, but ultimately it's a pretty standard song structure. So the question is always the same. Does a more complex structure mean a better song? Or do we want a song to keep the same structure as all the other songs just because it's a comforting thing? Well, what's the difference? Are there changes elsewhere? Are there interesting moments? Throughout Here Comes Revenge, we have reminders of the da 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 da. That rhythm comes throughout, and it's a very nice, familiar hook. But with Hate Train, we have such a weird, interesting journey that it's hard not to ignore how cool it is. It may not be a perfect song, but this round, for structure, goes to Hate Train. Round 2, Flow. Admittedly, I love the structure because it's so different, but right off the bat, Hate Train really goofs us up with these weird hits at the very beginning, and then it chops us up and what the heck, and it takes a little while to get into the groove of the song. If they cut out the intro, they'd actually have a pretty solid structure, or a pretty solid flow, because they bring us on this nice journey. It grooves, it drops down, it comes back up, it drops down again, it comes back up. It's a very cool structure. And then we have this solo that sort of falls apart, and it's really eerie and everything's really odd. So it's a very interesting song, a very interesting flow. It does have a roller coaster, and that's what we're looking for in music. But when you look at Here Comes Revenge, it also has heavy parts that drop down to clean parts and roller coasters in between them. Ultimately, for me, I want a roller coaster that feels good, that flows well. So this one comes down to how do they transition from riff to riff. In my opinion, the rocky nature of the start of Hate Train is enough to throw me off. For flow, the winner, Here Comes Revenge. Round 3, Melody. Now, both of these songs don't have the most memorable moments in them, right? They're not super singable songs, which is why they're all the way down fighting for 37th place. There's plenty of other better, more audience-friendly songs. So when you think of a melody that really catches the ears and gets you hooked, I like Here Comes Revenge for its boo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo, and I like Hate Train for that chorus. Curse to away the sorrow. I can't even remember the words, but man, the vocal hook just sticks. With Here Comes Revenge, you've got the line, here comes revenge. And with Hate Train, you have this doodle 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 doodle. For me, it's really difficult to choose between the two, but I do have to say, Here Comes Revenge stays pretty flat all the way through. Yes, it has a roller coaster of flow, but as far as melody goes, they don't explore very much. When you compare it to Hate Train, we've got solos that are cool, we've got solos that fall apart and they're dissonant, and we've got this clean section, and you can't deny that hook of the chorus. It just, away tomorrow. It's just so beautiful. I can't get enough of it. For melody, Hate Train is the winner. Round 3, Engagement. Admittedly, these songs are a little bit more difficult to pair against each other because Here Comes Revenge is on a major record and they have played it live a couple of times. Hate Train was on a demo, an EP that not everybody really picked up. As a matter of fact, I didn't even hear it until just a few weeks ago. So the fact is that Here Comes Revenge is going to be heard by a wider audience. Oddly enough, I haven't looked at the stats yet. I suppose I'm going to see them soon, but neither of them have been played live very often, so we can't really tell how much audience engagement is there. So let's pick apart the songs. What are the things that you can sing along to? Hate is a train, and hate. So they do repeat that word. There are a couple repetitive pieces to the verse lyrics of Hate Train, but is it enough to catch on? With Here Comes Revenge, they have the line, Here Comes Revenge, multiple times for multiple different choruses. So even though we repeat lines in the chorus of Hate Train, it's not enough lines repeating to really remember it. I still struggle, even though I just heard it multiple times before recording this video. I cannot remember that line of the chorus. I just know that it's really catchy. So unfortunately, for engagement, the winner is Here Comes Revenge. Round 5, lyrics. Let's take a look at the lyrics for Here Comes Revenge. I always like to look at the rhyme scheme first. Technically, these lines on the site are it's only 2 lines, but if you listen to delivery, little grave I'm grieving, I can't speak, and then I will mend you. It seems to me like this should be on its own line. And really, Metallica's website is full of all kinds of formatting errors, so I would personally break that onto its own line, which means grieving you, dreaming you. And those are, that's an A-B rhyme scheme, even though you and you are the same word. Grieving and dreaming do rhyme. Let's check the next verse. Nightmare, find you, despair, behind you. Once again, they're using you at the end of the line. So very cool, very cool. We have my favorite words, nightmare, and we have dreaming. Let's check out the next part. Time, shrine, flame, cane. Here, unbound, ground. That's interesting. To the ground. Oh, that's just a repetitive. I just skipped right by it. I don't know how to remember it. Burn your kingdom to the ground. That's just a repeating of the previous line. So really interesting. A, B, B. Here I'm hell unbound. I would make that one line, honestly, and then the rhyme is, so it's A, B, B, C, C for the rest of the verse. Let's take a look at the chorus. You undo, me free, tooth proof, you revenge. And then they kind of break the form a little bit. We just got the name. Let's see how many times it's said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6 times per chorus, at least 3 choruses. That is a lot of times saying the word revenge. That's just further proof that engagement-wise, Here Comes Revenge is the winner. So let's look at some of the words here. We've got eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. We've got some references to Cain and Abel. He was Abel, I was Cain. This is some biblical stuff in here. We also have a lot of stuff about dreaming and nightmare. Like I said, I'm hell unbound. Burn your kingdom to the ground. This is kind of evil incarnate, right? Revenge embodied, right? This person is... this isn't a person. This is revenge speaking. I am revenge. Here comes revenge. This is me. I return this nightmare. I will find you. Revenge will find you. Here comes revenge. It's a really cool framing device for a song. And I don't see a whole lot of, just scrolling through here really quickly, I don't see any words that make me feel uncomfortable or make me feel like I'm reading something, that a young person wrote. These are all pretty poignant lyrics, and I have no problems. Let's take a look at the lyrics for Hate Train. Hate Train. What is the deal with my comparisons lately, all having the same first letter, H and H? Hate Train. I have to say, admittedly, right off the top, hate is a train, and hate is the fame. This, it kind of put me off as the first line of a song. I'm really intrigued by this choice. I know that the title is Hate Train, but usually you get the title from the song. You don't usually start with the title. So by choosing to make Hate is a Train as the first line, I'm just really curious about that because it's a simile, right? Or I guess maybe a metaphor. They didn't say is like a train. Hate is a train. So this is a metaphor, but it sounds like a simile because it's kind of goofy. I don't know how else to put it, but right off the bat, I'm a little put off. Wrath is the name. And there's something, I guess reading this as a poem lyrically without context, it's not terrible. Hate is a train that thunders aimless through my head. And hate is the fame chained to the wheel until I'm dead. So it's a, you know, as a poem, it's fine. But when you hear it, hate is a train. Oh, okay. All right. What are we talking about here? So, you know, already, without even looking at the rest of it, you took away tomorrow. Oh, that's the line. I always keep forgetting it. You took away tomorrow. Still I stand. I ride into the sorrow. You took away tomorrow. Still I stand. So there's a lot of repetition in here. Still I stand. Still I stand. Still I stand. That's a good option for the audience to sing along. I admittedly, the first time I heard it, I thought it was Still I Stay. But repeating it that many times is really, really helpful, I think. It's too bad I gave the points to Here Comes Revenge, but there's no going back now. We have hate is a train that hungers for those flesh's call. The thunders aimless through my head. We have a similar verse down here, and hate is attracts the blame. And blame, I wanted to point out, the first one is fame, and the second verse is blame. So I think that's really interesting that we're bringing back in this verse lines from a previous verse. Anyways, I'm going on about this a little bit too long. I think you can gauge just by my reaction to these lyrics. It's not for me. It's got some interesting lines in here, but I think the simile isn't hitting me as hard. The similes and metaphor of the song. I would rather be more, I don't know, the point of view is goofy to me. It's not bad. Again, I'm not saying this is a bad song. I'm just saying compared to the other song, it just doesn't have what I'm looking for. So if you've reached this point of the lyrics section and you don't know the clear winner, in my opinion, I don't know, you must not have been paying attention. But lyrically, in my opinion, it's just a better song. The winner is Here Comes Revenge. And so once again, with a score of 3-2, that's a common theme. The winner is Here Comes Revenge. It's just barely squeezed by. Obviously 3-2. It wasn't a landslide victory, but now I want to know what score you would give these songs. Which one wins which round for you? And tell me, when you add it all up, which one should have gotten 37th place if you were doing the same battle. For me, Here Comes Revenge is 37, and now Hate Train is 38. So that's today's video. Make sure you check out my songs. Midnight Notion has music all over the place, and you can pit my songs against each other if you want to. And of course, smash that subscribe button, because tomorrow we fight for 33, and it's a battle between My Apocalypse and Atlas Rise. Who do you think's gonna win? I don't know, but you're awesome. Thanks for watching.